Hello, my name is Patrick Hopes. I am pursuing the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. I'm excited for this because I knew absolutely nothing about the cloud and cloud computing, anything about networking before taking this certificate. And I'm hoping to work in data analytics and IS management. So having foundational knowledge of the cloud and cloud infrastructure and potentials will be very important. The main reason why I chose the cloud practitioner certification was to fill knowledge gaps in my resume because I don't have any cloud computing, any networking experience or knowledge. And to, again, because I am interested in data analytics and IS management. So knowing these things and having a certification to prove some of my knowledge will be very helpful. The two main learning resources that I used during this certification was udemy.com and chatgpt.com. I'll show Udemy here in a second, and ChatGPT was used especially for helping me to understand some complex relationships or concepts that maybe I was struggling with, especially making analogies to processes or things that I already knew about, specifically in like the food service industry. This is the home screen for Udemy for the CLF CO2 Cloud Practitioner um, course that I took. It had good reviews. It was 14.5 hours. It probably took me closer to 20, studying a lot of the different things. And of course, it goes through and talks about all of the different components and services that are available. I particularly found global infrastructure and cybersecurity modules interesting, as well as the database analytics. Now, this was an overview, and so there wasn't a lot of specifications, but I did have some exposure to some of the tools involved. So there's about 320 different lectures, ranging from 1 minute to 15 minutes. The five skills that I will briefly touch on in this presentation are the IAM roles, budget setup, DynamoDB, infrastructure composer, and well-architected tool. Okay, starting on the console home screen, we're going to look at IAM roles. Here is the module here. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management, and roles are used to give users applications and services only the permissions needed. Instead of sharing long-term credentials, AWS can assign a role temporarily to a trusted user or service. This improves security because access is limited and easier to control. In our setup, IAM roles help make sure only approved people and systems can interact with sensitive resources. That way we reduce risk and follow the principles of least privilege. And that last part was important in the class about least privilege. We talked about least privilege quite a bit. So here's how we can work with the different IAM roles, and we can add permissions and create users and all of that in this console here. Next, we're going to look at billing and cost management in the budget setup. So we can go into the billing and cost management service, look at budgets, and we can set different budgets and create budgets. This is how we would make the budget here. We can choose based on how much we want to spend each month, set alerts when costs get close to that limit, and it's important because it helps keep the environment affordable and predictable, which are a lot of good benefits of cloud infrastructure. Next, we're going to look at DynamoDB. It is a fully managed NoSQL database, and it is serverless, meaning that we don't have to manage our own servers for it. Dynamo could store records like user settings, status updates, or transaction data, and it is designed for performance, scalability, and availability. Now, we didn't go into a lot of how to use this console because the Cloud Practitioner certification is an overview and not so much a technical certification, but this is where we would do all this work here. And it is easily scalable and very easy to work with uh, for a lot of different applications. Okay, next we're going to look at Infrastructure Composer. Now, I found Infrastructure Composer to be particularly fascinating. I've experience with Lucidchart and Draw.io, and the fact that AWS has a tool built into it to visualize how a system will come together. But on top of that, it has built in here structures. So when I go to connect, let's see, another API, it will only let me connect it to another Lambda function. It will not let me connect it to somewhere that won't work. And so this can help in structuring new processes and uh, cloud deployments. And finally, we're going to look at the AWS well-architected tool. One of the most fascinating things in the certificate that I learned about was the process and philosophy of well-architected tools. One of the things that we talked about in the course was to build cloud deployments that were disposable and modular. And I love that idea. It's something that I hadn't considered before, but they said, you really should be able to delete and rebuild anything, any kind of uh, service or sector of your deployment within 3 days. And so that can help with scalability and optimization. So the well-architected tool will help with building these systems, and it has some step by steps, and questions to help build a Amazon defined well-architected tool. In conclusion, the process of learning this particular certification, I don't think a Udemy or a Coursera module system is really the best learning process for me. I get pretty bored with that. And I mean, it's nice, and it's nice that it's cheap, and I learned the information well, but I don't enjoy that process. I've done a data analytics certificate through Coursera, and I'm finding it to be more and more grueling. But the information was there, and I think I will do really, really well on the test. So I am planning on taking the test after graduation here and before I start my master's in the fall. And I'll take it during that 3 week break, kind of touch up on some of the stuff. But I feel very confident. I've taken some practice tests in AI in ChatGPT, and I feel very confident that I'll pass. And then just to reiterate, AI helped by filling in the gaps in my knowledge base, and AI gave insightful analogies. And so that was helpful to be able to kind of speak with AI to kind of bridge, to supplement the fact that there wasn't an instructor available. Thanks for watching the presentation, and thanks for listening to what I learned during my certificate.